Do you actually make your cat feel safe every single day, or do you just think you do? Most cat owners believe they're doing everything right. You feed them on time. You pet them when they're nearby. You try to play with them when you have a moment. And in your mind, that should be enough. But here's the truth most people never realize. Cats don't measure love the way humans do. They don't care how much effort you think you're putting in. They don't even care how often you touch them. What they care about is something much quieter, something much harder to notice, how safe they feel around you. And some of the things you do every day without thinking might be the exact reason your cat still doesn't fully trust you. Not because they don't like you, but because something about your behavior still feels unpredictable, still feels slightly unsafe. And until that changes, your cat will always keep a small distance. These 6 simple things take less than a minute each. You don't need training. You don't need special tools. You don't even need more time. But once you start doing them consistently, your cat won't just tolerate you anymore. They'll start choosing you. And that shift from being tolerated to being chosen is where real trust begins. Sign 1. How you enter their space. Let's start with something most people completely ignore. The way you enter your cat's space. Have you ever walked into a room and noticed your cat suddenly look up, pause, or even move slightly away? It's subtle, easy to miss. But to your cat, that moment matters more than anything you do afterward. Because cats don't judge you after you interact with them. They judge you the moment they see you. In the wild, movement means everything. Fast movement means danger. Direct movement means intention. And unpredictable movement means risk. So when you walk straight toward your cat, full speed, full focus, you don't feel threatening. But to your cat, you are intense. And intensity is not safety. Now here's the shift. Slow down before you even get close. Don't walk directly at them. Turn your body slightly. Soften your focus. Let your presence feel neutral instead of direct. That tiny adjustment completely changes how your cat reads you. Because trust doesn't begin when you touch them. It begins the moment they see you and decide whether you're safe or not. Sign 2. Stop reaching. This is one of the biggest mistakes cat owners make. They try to show love by initiating contact, reaching out, petting, picking up, holding. From a human perspective, it feels natural. Touch equals affection. But for cats, touch is not the beginning. It's the result. Cats don't start with contact. They start with control. Every time you reach for your cat without warning, you remove their ability to choose. And when an animal loses control even slightly, it creates tension. Not always visible, not always dramatic, but it builds over time. And that's why some cats seem affectionate one moment and distant the next. Now here's the change. Stop reaching first. Pause instead. Extend your hand slowly. Let it stay still. Let your cat decide what happens next. If they move toward you, that's trust. If they don't, that's information. But the key is this. When your cat initiates contact, the interaction becomes safe. It becomes something they chose. And over time, that choice builds trust in a way forced affection never can. If this is starting to change the way you see your cat, take a second to like the video and subscribe, because most people never realize how much their daily behavior shapes their cat's trust. And the next part is something even deeper. Something your cat feels long before you even touch them. Sign 3. Your energy shapes their world. Here's something most people have never thought about. Your cat is not just reacting to what you do, they're reacting to how you feel. Cats are extremely sensitive to emotional energy, not in a mystical way, but in a very real physical way. They read your breathing, your tension, your speed, your posture. If you're stressed, rushed, distracted, or slightly irritated, your cat knows. Even if you don't say a word, even if you don't look at them, because your body is communicating constantly. And to your cat, that communication matters more than anything else. Now here's what changes everything. Slow your breathing. Relax your shoulders. Move with intention instead of speed. When your presence becomes calm, your cat begins to associate you with safety, not because of what you give them, but because of how they feel when you're near. And that's a level of trust that goes far beyond simple interaction. Sign 4. Your voice is a signal. Let's move to something simple, but incredibly powerful. Your voice. Have you ever noticed how your tone changes when you talk to your cat? That softer, higher, almost instinctive voice you use without thinking. Most people laugh about it. Some even feel embarrassed. But here's what matters. Cats respond to tone more than words. Studies have shown that cats can recognize their owner's voice, but they respond more strongly when that voice carries warmth and softness. It's not about what you say, it's about how it feels. When your voice is calm, gentle, and consistent, it becomes a signal, a marker of safety, a sound your cat learns to trust. So instead of only talking when you need something, start using your voice more intentionally. When you walk past them, when you enter the room, when you feed them. That repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity builds trust. Sign 5. Micro-routines create security. Cats don't trust chaos, they trust patterns. In the wild, survival depends on predictability. Knowing when to hunt, when to rest, when it's safe. That instinct never disappears, even inside your home. So when your schedule changes constantly, when feeding times shift, when interaction is random, your cat has no stable pattern to rely on. And that creates a low level of stress that builds over time. Now here's the shift. Create micro-routines. Feed at similar times, play in predictable patterns, sit in the same places. Even small repeated actions can create structure. And structure is what makes your cat feel secure, because when your cat can predict what happens next, they don't have to stay alert, they don't have to stay guarded, they can relax. And that relaxation is where trust grows. Sign 6. The power of doing nothing. This is the one that surprises most people. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your cat is nothing. No touching, no calling, no interaction, just being there. Most people think bonding requires action, but for cats, presence matters more than activity. In nature, cats only rest near those they trust. They don't need constant engagement. They share space quietly. That's connection in their world. So when you sit near your cat without asking anything from them, you send a powerful message. I'm safe. I'm not here to control you. At first, your cat might keep distance. That's normal. But over time, something changes. They move closer, slowly, gradually, until one day they sit near you by choice. And in a cat's world, being chosen is the strongest signal of trust they can give. Here's the moment almost nobody notices. You sit down. Your cat is nearby. You shift slightly. Maybe you move your hand. Maybe you adjust your position. And instead of getting up, your cat stays. That's it. No dramatic movement. No obvious reaction. Just stillness. But that stillness means something. Because your cat had a choice. They could have left. They could have created distance, but they didn't. They stayed. And that decision is trust. Not loud, not obvious, but real. Trust is not something you give your cat. It's something your cat decides to moment by moment, based on how predictable you are, how calm you are, and how safe you make their world feel. So if you thought loving your cat meant feeding them, petting them, or playing with them, now you understand something deeper. Love to a cat is not loud. It's not constant. It's not forced. It's quiet. It's consistent. It's safe. And when you start showing up in a way that makes your cat feel that safety every single day, something changes. You stop wondering if your cat trusts you, because you'll see it. In the way they relax, in the way they stay, in the way they choose to be near you. And in that moment, you're not just their owner anymore. You're someone they trust. And for a cat, that means everything.